All right, thanks, ladies. He is the father of one of Hollywood's brightest stars. He's not only dealt with her addiction, but his own. But now he's dedicated to helping other addicts on the road to recovery and a new life. We are very, very happy to welcome recovery expert Michael Lohan to Emotional Mojo. Michael, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for
having me. And for taking time out to see us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
We do want to start. I mean, we have to start with talking about your daughter, actress Lindsay Lohan. You know, she started her career child actor, sucked into the party scene. Eventually, unfortunately, we watched it all in the public eye, you know, involved with drugs, alcohol, jail time. But not every child actor self-destructs in this way. I mean, what do you think went wrong for Lindsay? Where do you think her path veered?
Well, the same thing as a lot of child actors and even actors and actresses in Hollywood. It's basically the environment and the people you're around. It's the people, places, and things. And you know what? T.D. Jakes said it very well. I mean, we all have our own story. We're all the same. I don't care if you're an actor, if you're just a regular person.
Right.
Everyone's got their own story to be told, and we all suffer the same kind of environment in our life.
Yeah.
We have to choose our path, and unfortunately, there's so many negative things around us out there in society that we're drawn toward the wrong things.
Those demons are out there. It's whether you fall prey to them or not.
Yeah. And she's been in and out of treatment programs, we know that. And even more recently, even Oprah stepped in with some tough love. Let's take a look at that clip.
I believe that you believe that this is your time to turn this around for yourself. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believed you when you told me that.
It is.
Okay. All right. If that is the case, then you are not going to up. And I know you're surprised to hear me say
I actually love it.
If you have to bleep Oprah, I would take that advice pretty seriously. I mean, how is she doing now? I see you watching this clip. You're shaking your head a little bit. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, how's she doing? You
know, first of all, Oprah's an amazing woman. I mean, she really had a heart in this and did this really to help Lindsay and put some sort of guidelines in her life, to have that camera on her to make sure she did the right thing. Right. Lindsay's doing really well. That come to Jesus talk really, I think, made a big difference in her life, especially with a high-powered woman like Oprah.
And so public.
But she's been clean for 19 months. Her life is totally turned around, and like I was saying before, it's a people, places, and things. She moved to London. She's around a different group of people, and she's really concentrating on work now like she did. I mean, she's away from her old haunts and the people that led her in that direction, which is really important.
So you both are so open about such personal matters.
Kind of a double-edged sword, though, for you, because yes, it will help people who can relate, but on the other hand, I mean, you have been berated by people before for being too open, even. I mean, why choose that path?
At this point, it's water off a duck's back. It doesn't bother me anymore. Listen, I had to do what I had to do as a father. I'm not, when your kid is in addiction, you can't be their friend. You can't enable them. I had to do what I had to do. When Lindsay was doing the wrong thing, it came to the point where I had the Sheriff's Department of Hollywood break down her door. And I had to find a reason, a justified and legal reason to do so, and we came up with something and we did it. And Lindsay hated me for it, but now that hate turned to love because she realizes that my heart was in it for the right reason.
And that you could have saved her life.
Yeah, no, we tried to do things under the radar for so long, but you know, it gets to the point. Look, with your own kid, when it's someone in the secular world, not in the, you know, in the
Hollywood
whole
world.
Yeah,
in the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. You can do things differently, but when everything is under the microscope of the public eye, it becomes really hard. And I found it really necessary for everyone to get on her and say, look what's happening. And that put her in the right place.
Well, let's talk about your story a little bit and why you're here, because you also dealt with addiction and recovery. You've gone to treatment centers, relapse. Do you come from the belief that addiction is hereditary? Because I feel like there's a lot of back and forth with that. What are your beliefs on that?
Well, actually, I had the honor to go to Congress with Dr. Eli Blum, who is the geneticist who actually identified the addiction gene in the brain.
Really?
So it's proven, and it's proven that there is an addiction gene. Where it falls in a family's in the family genetics is a different story. If you have a brother that's not addicted, and maybe you are, it's because you got that gene. But don't forget, that gene can be dormant, and it's a matter of turning on that light switch in a dark room. So it takes that one thing or a group of things to really affect you where you know, that switch.
Well, and I think if you come from a family of addiction, you just have to be hyper vigilant to not turn that switch on, as
Absolutely,
you say.
you have to avoid the things that might turn the switch on, absolutely.
Well, it's interesting. The conversation has turned to heroin. And this is why, because you're sober now, you're dedicating your life to helping others. And heroin is now the drug of choice among youth. Heroin. I mean,
it's so addictive.
Why is it such a big deal right now? And how are young people getting it so easily? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, there's a number of reasons. First of all, whenever you use something intravenously, that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
It's right in your system, and there's no high like it. I've never shot anything in my life, never did heroin. My drug of choice was I was drinking, and I snorted cocaine, and that was back in the 80s. But heroin is out there so much because there were, I mean, the pharmaceutical companies came out with the oxycodones and the oxycontins and all these other pills that was so readily available because doctors were, you know, so incentivized to write scripts. I mean, they were getting money in various different ways. So, and the government was behind it. But there was such a crackdown and such a public outcry that they started to shut down the pill mills and arrest the doctors and take their power away.
So it moved to the streets.
Then heroin came out there. It was cheaper, more readily available, and when you start shooting things, forget it, you're done.
Well, you're doing something to help. You co-founded a treatment center, Insight to Recovery. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a partner in Insight to Recovery. The founder actually is Harvey Brown, who's 33 years in recovery. He's an older gentleman. He's an amazing man. There aren't many treatment programs that really follow the path of true treatment and helping people to recover. Let me make this clear, that when you're in treatment, you're not recovering.
Yeah.
You're only getting sober.
Right.
You start to recover when the rubber hits the road, when you leave treatment.
And that's what we need to focus on.
And that's the important part, because in a treatment center, a lot of these people have groups and AA meetings and all these big book studies. That's not where it's at. You have to identify the core issue of the trauma that led to addiction. One-on-one therapy.
What turned on that light switch?
Exactly. And when you're clean, what makes people relapse? What is that one or group of things that say, I can't deal with this?
Well, we want to thank you for sharing that info with us for sure. And if you guys want to learn more, visit insighttorecovery.com.